Thanks for tuning in another week, you all. Today's episode is a very common topic I'm talking about with my athletes. Probably the number one thing I'm talking about with them, actually. It's also very relatable to real life. The difference between being outcome focused and process focused is going to change your experience and your performance tenfold. When athletes come to me and they're like, I don't know what's happened. I was playing so great. And then all of a sudden I've gotten into such a slump. Chances are it's because they became very outcome focused. They lost sight of their process. So I'm going to break down what outcome focused is, the consequences of it, and then give some tips for being more process focused. So when athletes become outcome focused, they are usually thinking about stats, making mistakes, other people's opinions, results, winning, losing, again, what other people are going to think maybe after the game. So let's take golf for example, because I have a lot of golfers right now. If a golfer is thinking about score, is that actually going to help them shoot a good score? No, it's not. No wonder why they're playing so much better in practice, because they typically don't keep score. They are solely focused on just hitting the one shot in front of them and getting it to the target that they had picked out 30 seconds ago. Another example is, let's say a baseball pitcher is thinking about the bases being loaded, knowing that he has to strike this guy out in front of him. Is that going to help him execute the next pitch and hit his spots? No. Thinking about the outcome is just putting so much pressure on him in that moment. So being outcome focused can cause a lot of tension, anxiety, fear about what might happen, uncertainty, makes you play safe and timid. There's usually a lot of overthinking involved, and it certainly does not help you execute what you want to do in that moment. It's very future focused. So then the question becomes, well, how do I be more process focused then? I have 3 tips to give today. Tip 1 is to set goals that are more controllable heading into your game, meet, race, or round, whatever sport you play. So for example, I'm going to focus on being more aggressive on defense today, committing to every single shot and talking to my teammates as soon as I come off the bench. If you're doing these 3 things, that will probably lead to some good outcomes for you. And these things are all in your control. So they take you out of thinking mode and they put you back into what I like to call it, into doing mode. So we all perform better when we are doing, not thinking. So tip 1 is to bring it back into your control, set some process focused goals going into your competition that day. Tip 2, reevaluate what you're playing for. So when you were playing really good, what were you playing for? Were you playing to compete? Maybe you were just trying to get the ball into the hole. Maybe you were just trying to complete some passes. When you start noticing yourself perform badly, did you start to play for stats or for coach's approval? Maybe you started playing for playing time, or playing to not get pulled out, playing to not make mistakes. And are those things really in your control? So tip number 2 is asking yourself, what am I playing for? What do I want? And if you need more help dissecting that question, because that can be a loaded one, I'm here for you. Tip 3, find success in how you execute your process, not necessarily the outcome. So for example, did you study your hardest for that test that you just bombed? Okay, well, you did your best in the process. Did you play aggressive and commit to every single shot, no matter what? Well, if you did that, then great, you can find some success in that. Did you choose to eat healthy and work out every single day this week, even though maybe you didn't see any pounds drop? Well, you're forming good habits, and you adjust your process along the way if results aren't being necessarily seen. So tip 3 is to always find success in your process and how you do things. And we all need reminders every now and then to stay grounded in our process. I'll be working with an athlete for maybe 3 years, and they just had an unreal game. So then they start to play to match those stats for the next game. And then they just completely, utterly fail because they lost sight of their process. So we come back next session to break it down, and they'll immediately know what happened. They're like, George, I lost on my process. I got too excited and I started playing for stats. So then we ground them back down in the process again, and they're on their way. But this is a constant practice. We need to be constantly thinking and adjusting our process for success. So if you find yourself to be a little more outcome focused, please reach out. My email is georgia@rootedsportspsychcoach.com. My website is rootedsportspsychcoach.com. Both of these are in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in another week. Go focus on your process. Trust that all those outcomes will follow.